2024 turned out to be a magnificent year. But if we look at the expectations going into the year, there were expectations of 6 to 7 rate cuts from the Fed. And we had higher expectations for earnings than what companies are really delivering. So this is more a question of what investors are willing to pay for earnings than it's actually a question of how the fundamentals have developed. I've been very surprised through 2024 of how much investors are willing to pay. You know, the pricing has gone up quite a bit. So that to me has been the big surprise.
Interesting. So ultimately, how is that shaping your thoughts for 2025? Is the outperformance of U.S. market likely to continue? Do you think we've reached the peak? Guide us through that.
Yeah, well, I think U.S. Stocks will outperform. I think for investors globally, I think that they will have to turn their heads towards Trump. I think this will be a year of Trump. His politics, his communication will be headline for stock returns. Looking back at his first 4 years back in 2017 to 21 in the White House, I kind of got the impression that he measured his own success by the S&P 500. So I think we have an advantage for U.S. stocks going into 2025, and it remains to see how much of a hardliner Donald Trump will be, considering Europe, considering China, and that of course will be a magnificent headwind, or perhaps not as much a headwind for equity returns in these regions.
If we put the politics aside for a little bit, if we forget that Trump is about to become president, and to understand what is the actual corporate outlook for 2025, guide us through the earnings expectations for this new year.
Yeah, well, I think they're still too high compared to what companies will be able to deliver, but not way too high. And I think that has been my at least a problem with stocks for the past 1.5 years. That I think that earnings projections have been way too high. They're probably also too high now, but not by much. So I don't think that we'll have a huge part of headwind coming from earnings downgrades. And so when we come into 2025, I think we'll still have more disappointments than we are used to. But I think that companies will get through in an okay manner. But growth is not like we've seen it historical. We still see low growth. U.S. By far the best place to be compared to Europe. Remember, even though we've had a 2024 with somewhat of an earnings standstill, and we had a 2023 with earnings drag and earnings being down in Europe, we still have a pricing of European equities higher than the historic level. So I think Europe looks vulnerable, more vulnerable on the earnings side than US, for example. I think investors will struggle to find the pockets with high growth, and US delivers, especially US tech, deliver high growth. So I think US stocks are in for a better year than especially Europe.